Yeah, welcome to Wrestling Uncensored. We're previewing AEW, New Japan, Forbidden Door. We're reviewing tonight's SmackDown and everything else, WWE and AEW. Johnny North is here. I'm here. Let's do it. Oh, yeah, and we're watching AEW Rampage, and I forgot it's an important Rampage because it's actually live. They're in Toronto, right? This is a live Rampage. This is a big deal. Is it Toronto? No, Chicago.
I don't.
Oh, this is not live. I was more excited about this than I should have been. Sorry, John. This is not live. This was taped in Chicago on Wednesday.
I was going to say, like, the fans are exactly where they were on Dynamite. It's like, there's no way they had this live twice like this.
No. I'm just confusing tonight's show with tomorrow's show, Collision, which is live in Toronto, right? AEW's got too many shows. TSN. Oh, yeah. It'll be on TV here, live at 8 o'clock tomorrow night. AEW's got too many shows. It got me confused about the lineup. What happened to my... I just had... were we watching Rampage? It just disappeared. Our Rampage feed.
Watching Rampage.
Our Rampage feed just crapped out, and we got... kind of
CFL football.
CFL football fan celebrating. I don't know what happened. Maybe somebody can help me get Rampage back on. Rampage me, please.
This is what happens when you update to 7 hours of wrestling a week now. Strange things happen in life. Strange things happen.
It is hard to get a handle of all the wrestling. I think we're getting our Rampage feed fixed. Thank you. Shout out Angelo Contagones, Jason Pete, members of the team in the chat. Join.ringside report is what you want to do. Join.ringsidereport.net. Join.ringsidereport.net. Did they kill the Rampage feed? Oh, there it is. Okay, we got it back. I thought TSN just deaded the Rampage feed like they dead half their programming and talent. So, shout out to all the guys supporting the network. Jason Pete, Angelo Contagones. I see you guys. Alex Tarras, Ryan Katz, CSL Lorne. Regulars in the chat. We got a lot of pro wrestling to get to here tonight, AEW and WWE. It's a big weekend for AEW. I'm excited. I'm a big fan of New Japan Pro Wrestling and AEW Wrestling. Two great wrestling companies coming together this weekend to do a big pay-per-view with some great matches. I'm hyped. They put a lot of matches together kind of last minute this Wednesday on Dynamite. We're going to get to some of those. And we also have some matches where I guess we have to wait for Collision to find out who's in them or what the match is exactly, right? Is there just one?
That's how it's working, I think.
Is that just one? La Suzuki Gods, Jericho, which is such a cool team, Chris Jericho, Sammy Guevara, and Minoru Suzuki, the King, taking on Sting, Darby Allin, and someone.
Question mark, yeah.
And we find out tomorrow on Collision. Is there anything else that we have to wait for Collision for, or can we preview this thing properly tonight?
I think we're good unless something crazy happens on Rampage, which is not impossible because it's happened in the past. So
doubtful.
Oh, we never know. How is this going to work too? I mean, we had Collision last week, so do we review last week's Collision now? Because we didn't talk about it last week. We previewed it last week.
Oh yeah. Do we have to talk about Collision? It's a good question.
Well, the Punk thing. The Punk thing was pretty big. The promo.
Yeah, I guess we should talk about CM Punk and his promo. We could talk about the match, too, which, I don't know what you thought about it, but I see Alex Tarras says, I'm done with CM Punk. No CM Punk. He really doesn't like CM Punk.
There's a lot of CM Punk coming up. CM Punk was everywhere. He was on Collision, Dynamite, he'll be on Collision again, he'll be at the pay-per-view. You're going to get a lot of Punk now. Punk down your throat.
So CM Punk cut that promo last week on Collision, and I watched it. I wanted to know what CM Punk was going to say, and it was about what I expected. He said, I'm the, what does he say? The real dollar man or whatever, and the Bucks are
Well,
counterfeit bucks or whatever. All right.
that's what the CEO of WB said to him. Right?
Yeah,
WB
which
Discovery said to him.
cool. You know, is that what you want?
I think it just adds to it. But the problem is, like, if we ever going to get that match, it seems like we're not going to get that at least anytime soon, which is kind of sad. But I think he had to address it, though. I feel like a lot of people wanted to hear what he had to say, so I feel like he delivered what he had to deliver.
But what did he really say about them?
Oh, just that they're fake
Counterfeit
people, pretty much. Yeah.
I mean, okay. It was, it wasn't scathing. It
The
was
soft
what it
thing, too.
was.
The soft one, I think, got a lot of people mad, I think.
Right, people that were upset with CM Punk, the people that don't like CM Punk, or possibly the elite fans, he said you are softer than the wrestlers that you love, right? Something like that?
Well, it's like he's not sorry. He's sorry that your wrestlers are softer.
Yeah.
Something like that, yeah.
Okay. I did see Ryan Nemeth respond to that. Dolph Ziggler's brother, who works for AEW, and I don't know if he responded to that, but come on, read between the lines. He said it right after. He said like this is the softest guy ever in wrestling, and also CM Punk is the guy who's complaining about a stiff chop. A year later. I don't know about Punk. Like he didn't say much that I thought was groundbreaking in the promo. I thought it was entertaining. But, I think the most important part of the promo was the fact that he came out with the bag with, you would think, the belt in it. He didn't show the belt, but you figure it's the belt, right? And he said, nobody beat me for it, and until somebody can, I'm going to carry this around. I mean, he's setting up a match with MJF down the road. And I think that's important because he was the champion. He didn't lose. He got hurt. He disappeared. He's back now. They got to do that title match. The stuff with the Bucks, like, yeah, he addressed it a bit. He didn't say their names directly. He took kind of subtle shots, and it was what I was expecting from Punk. He had to address the elephant in the room, and he did. In his own way, at a level that was comfortable, I think, for Tony Khan and a lot of the wrestling audience. He didn't go super far. Maybe the Bucks were a little mad, but, take your shots back in your promos. It's pro wrestling. That's how it works. And if you want to do a match, do a match. If you don't want to do a match, whatever. Don't do it. It's fine. They're on separate shows. I think, he came back. He put it out there, and now he's done. Now he can move on to other things, and there are other things to move on to. So I'm good.
Well, it's going to be interesting. Sunday's going to be very interesting, though, because they're all going to be in the same building at the same time, and then there's going to be a post-media scrum, so that'll be fun. That'll be probably more interesting than the pay-per-view.
Don't you think that Tony Khan, like if I were Tony Khan, as tempting as it may be, I would not allow CM Punk to do any of those post-event media things ever again. Based on what happened. Wow. Just say, look, that is not a time when you should be talking. Your adrenaline's going, you're sweaty, you just had a match, you're beat up, you're hurt, and you can get irritable. Right? So maybe Punk, you don't do those, and you're available for media the next day or whatever. And that's fine, but I really think that CM Punk shouldn't grab a mic when he's on that juice from a match. Because you know what it's like, John. After the match, you see these guys cut these promos, and there's a certain adrenaline pumping, right?
Right, of course.
I don't know if it's safe to go shoot style when you've got that wrestling adrenaline pumping. Obviously, with Punk, it wasn't safe. It caused a lot of problems in the company. Hang back. Because at the end of the day, what's the money for you in putting him on that media scrum? If you're AEW, how are you benefiting or profiting from putting him there and having him spew his guts to the wrestling world? You know who profits? Dave Meltzer profits. Sean Ross Sapp profits, right? Fightful and the Wrestling Observer. Like, those people, they're making money off the controversy because people want to know, right? It helps that business, which is cool. But, you know, for AEW, it's completely unnecessary. It doesn't help anything. Clearly, it hurt. He had to suspend Kenny Omega and the Young Bucks when they were not injured. They're top talents, and they had to go away for a while. That doesn't help business. And you set up 0 matches because no one wants to play nice. So, you know, I don't know what they're going to do after the show, if they're going to just let Punk walk all over AEW and Tony Khan again. But if I were Tony Khan, I'd put my foot down and say, hey, man, I am writing the checks, and I don't want you on these things anymore. I think that's fair. I think that's a fair request. You don't need... How about you don't need to do it? You get the night off. Wouldn't he prefer that? Not having to talk to the people? And I think the wrestling media would be like, yeah, I mean, fair enough. Punk is not doing the media scrum tonight, guys. Ha, ha, ha. And then he just doesn't do it, and, you know, what are you going to do? You talk to Jericho, you talk to Tanahashi, you get to talk to all these wrestling stars. You don't need to talk to Punk. Leave him alone. Do you want him in wrestling or not?
I get your point on this one, and like it's a sound point, but I feel like this will be a bit different though, because more than likely Punk is not main event for the pay-per-view, or I would think he's probably, you know, third, fourth match. So adrenaline probably won't be so high. Like if he wrestles like around 9:30 and the show ends at like at 12:30, you know, media scrum starts like at 1. I don't think he'll be so amped up. And
Dude,
I think if anyone,
I
don't think he'll be that amped up. And plus, as long as they don't interact with each other, more likely they won't. Separate dressing rooms, more than likely, right?
Oh, that it's always been like that, and it didn't help.
Well, I imagine they're gonna, you know, have extra people make sure there's no crossing, or like they'll make sure lanes are blocked or whatever, you know, so no interactions. But like I think most people, if there's a media scrum, they want to hear from Punk the most, I think.
Well, yeah, I think a lot of people want to hear from CM Punk. I think a lot of people want to hear from MJF. I think a lot of people want to hear from Bryan Danielson. I think those guys are equally important. I think people want to hear from Kenny Omega. How come he doesn't do those scrums? You never see Kenny at those. Why does Punk have to do it? You don't see Kenny or the Bucks ever do those. Kenny and the Bucks never have. I don't think they've done one.
I feel Kenny may have done one, but maybe that's about it.
Maybe. Not for a while, though. Like, they can hang back and not do it. There are people that just don't do it. You don't have to do it. We're getting some good comments in the chat, John, that I do want to address.
That's good.
Ryan Cat saying CM seemed more mature in WWE. I don't think that he was more mature in the WWE. I just think he had Vince McMahon in the WWE telling him, listen, pal, this is how things are going to go, damn it. And it worked. I think that was a big difference between Punk now and Punk before. Jason Pete, and even then, Punk before was, you know, a wild man. He was saying some things that, you know, he went far. Jason Pete says, does Punk think he's bigger than AEW? It kind of seems like it.
Like, he's definitely the top star in AEW. I don't think there's any question about that. Like, they made a whole show just for him, pretty much. There's no one else they really did that for. I mean, they did it with a bunch of other people starting cast. I mean, Collision is pretty much just for Punk.
Yeah, but they didn't... You're saying it like they made a show for Punk because he's so great. They made a show for Punk because he's a big star, and he can't play nice with half the roster. So it's a
there's
division
things to
of
it.
it's a division of real life tension rather than doing it to promote Punk as a star.
A little bit, but
Yeah, a little bit.
people want to see.
A little bit.
People want to see that though.
Come on.
Like he attracts a lot of attention though. You can't
yeah,
deny
of course. But to say that he's the biggest star in AEW, I think is debatable. I would debate it.
Of course.
I think Bryan Danielson is bigger, more important.
I think you're going in terms of like who's a better wrestler when you say stuff like that. Like
Who was
won't debate
relevant?
that kind
How
of
about
thing?
this? How about this? Who main evented at WrestleMania?
Okay, yeah, sure.
Bryan did twice. Punk did 0. Who was in WWE more recently? Bryan.
Okay. What does that have to do with anything?
I mean, come on. You know what it has to do with everything.
I mean, Punk still had his good moments in WWE. You can't take those things away from him.
Punk hasn't been a WWE superstar in over a decade. And that hurts the star power. I'm just saying, Bryan Danielson, he's married to Brie Bella.
Okay.
One of the most
AJ's
iconic figures in the history of professional wrestling. AJ Lee's been completely forgotten by the WWE on purpose.
Right.
I'm just saying. Bryan Danielson is a big star, and pro wrestling will look at Bryan Danielson more fondly in 20 to 30 years than CM Punk. Because CM Punk, he draws a lot of heat, and a lot of people don't like CM Punk. A lot of people think CM Punk is not as great as he is and all that stuff. I think he's fantastic. I think that Bryan Danielson has always been better than him in every way, all the time, every step, everywhere they've been. And I think Punk knows it.
It depends what we're talking about. I mean, in terms of wrestling, sure, we can talk about that. But in terms of like attracting an event, like drawing a crowd, I think CM Punk does it more than Danielson does. I mean,
Danielson main evented 2 WrestleManias. They gave him WrestleMania 30. It was all about Bryan Danielson.
He had his year.
That wasn't supposed to be about him at all. At all.
Right.
But the whole wrestling world said, nope, this guy, and ran with it. Became a megastar in wrestling. Main evented 2 Manias. Beat Triple H. Punk was scared. He walked away. Didn't want to wrestle Triple H at WrestleMania. Couldn't handle the game. But see, I'm not saying John. I want you to know that I'm not saying you're wrong. That CM Punk isn't the biggest star in AEW. He's probably the biggest needle mover right now because of the controversy, because of what he brings to the table. But as far as pro wrestler, as far as if you look at the body of work and the accomplishments overall, I think when you look at when it's all said and done for both guys, Bryan Danielson will be clearly that guy above Punk and everybody else. Look at him. It's Bryan Danielson. The best. Who's working Okada this weekend, and who's working Kojima? Okay? Punk is working Kojima. And that match, by the way, might be the drizzling shits, John. What did you think of Punk's match? Let's talk about in-ring work for a second here, if you're going to... I mean, now I'm really going to get all over Punk, because I don't like because when it gets on Danielson, I get really Team Danielson because I think he's the best ever. But Punk did not look great in the match. The 6-man with FTR against Jay Whiteo and Juice Robinson and
Samoa Joe.
Oh, right, Samoa Joe. I was like, who was that
the guy that happened to be in the match?
Hey, man, it was a long time ago, okay? It was Saturday night, and I've watched Raw, Dynamite, SmackDown, and now this thing since. Not to mention Ultimate Fighter, which is basically pro wrestling.
Yeah, we're not watching a great match right now. Adam Jay versus Sky Blue. Oof.
I expected a classic. Right, I expected Brett Shawn in this, but instead we get a disappointment. Yeah, Punk, Lior says, thank you, Lior, member of the team, smart man. He went to join.ringsidereport.net. He knows what to do. He says, couldn't agree with you more. D-Bry is way more entertaining than CM Punk. That's right. CM Punk could never have the comedic range to pull off a Team Hell No. He doesn't have it. He doesn't have that element to his game.
Okay.
He doesn't.
Like, it was okay.
He has
like,
one
Team
gear.
Hell No,
He has
like,
one gear. Shoot style, mean promos, making fun of other people, and like being rude. Bryan Danielson has a large array of things that he can do. He's got a way bigger range than CM Punk.
But I'll take that one gear that Punk has over what Danielson's done, because, like,
how dare you?
It's good. I'm not gonna say it's bad, but like,
No,
I'd rather take Punk's thing because that's
it's so
far
good.
more entertaining.
It's very good. Promo wise, I may give Punk a slight edge, but only a slight edge. Yeah, not by much,
Okay.
because of the range of. I mean, give Danielson a mic. You see what he does. He's fantastic. You think he's no
He's not
good?
bad.
Why do you think he's on commentary
saying...
every week when the Blackpool Combat Club is wrestling? Why do you think they put him there on the mic? Can't even say that stupid name. The BCC.
Yeah, there you go, the BCC. But yeah, he's very insightful. Like, he's good and he's knowledgeable about wrestling. There's no doubt about that. But in terms of who do I want to hear talk more, like Punk over Bryan all the time. Like, and that again, that's no like disservice to Bryan, but Punk's far more interesting because you're not sure what Punk's going to do.
Yeah, because Punk says stuff that makes the other wrestlers want to punch him in the face.
That's entertaining. Like, he's doing his job.
I know, but at what cost? You know, like, so many wrestlers talk about how much they hate CM Punk. I never hear any of that about Bryan Danielson. I'm just saying. I like Punk. I like Punk, and I'm not a wrestler. I don't have to work with him, so I don't care. I like watching him, but honestly, I was a little disappointed in how he looked in that match. He didn't look he didn't move that well.
I mean, he looked very tentative, but I expected as much. I mean, it's a 6-man tag. I like that commentary, which was great, by the way. That's like my new favorite commentary team now. Is Kevin Kelly, Nigel McGuinness.
Yeah, fantastic.
Great,
so good.
Great. They put it over on commentary that, oh, Punk seems kind of tentative here. Like, he's only going in and out. Like, maybe this is a strategy. Like, I mean, they called it out. That's exactly what happened. Like, he just did his little moments here and there, had the whole thing with Samoa Joe, but it was more than just one moment, which I thought that was really, there was some good storytelling. They didn't than like solid wrestling. I felt Punk was kind of doing more of a feeling out process, and I think we'll see more of that tomorrow too.
So you're saying that it's strategic? He's supposed to look this way?
I'm saying it's a 6-man. Like, they limited him by doing a match like that, so he can gradually get back into it. It's asking a lot of him to do a pay-per-view match right away. Like, maybe you're right. It won't be that good of a match on pay-per-view, because to do a singles that quick, that might be asking too much from him.
What do you know about Satoshi Kojima?
Absolutely nothing.
Yeah, he's
just
50,
that apparently
he's 52. That's what you need to know, first of all. He's nervous?
He's nervous, so I'm like, yeah, apparently he's nervous wrestling Punk. I'm like, well, this is going to be great. We got someone who just came back and someone who's nervous to wrestle the guy who came back. Uh-oh. If it's short, maybe it's for the best.
I think it will be short. Because Kojima is kind of like an older wrestler that they use in the early matches. He's not like a main eventer in New Japan.
It's like Eugene Nagata, I guess, right?
Yeah, on that level.
Right.
In that way. I think Punk will win. It is the first round Owen Hart Cup tournament match. We have the Owen Hart Cup tournament brackets.
Give it away if Punk's going to win.
You think he's going to win the whole thing?
I think he's definitely going to the finals. I forget how the brackets all mash up and all that, but like, I think Punk at least gets past this for sure, and like goes probably all the way, I would think.
If he wins this, he faces the winner of Roderick Strong and Samoa Joe, which, Samoa Joe's going to
Wow.
win,
Okay.
right?
Yeah,
So
that
it'll be
makes sense.
Punk Joe in the semis. And then the other bracket has Dustin Rhodes versus Powerhouse Hobbs, which I figure Hobbs will win. And then Juice
What's the other
Robinson,
one?
Ricky Starks. They do Starks Hobbs
Hmm.
probably. No? I
Yeah,
think that it's going to be
Hobbs makes sense.
Hobbs Punk in the final.
It should be Joe versus Punk. I don't know why the brackets are set like this, but whatever.
Because
But I
Punk's going to win the
think you're
tournament
right.
and Punk wants to work with Hobbs. Punk likes Hobbs.
Yeah, but you can work with Hobbs in the semis. Like, it would just be as good. Like, it would be kind of cool for Joe that he went to the finals twice, but lost twice too.
Well, don't ask me, man. I'm not Tony Khan. I don't make these decisions. I don't
But
disagree
there's
with you.
also
I think Punk Joe is a more compelling final, but
yeah,
you know,
but this is kind of good for Punk too. He's got that Bret Hart inspired gear now, so when he wins in Calgary, it's gonna get a great reaction with that gear that he has of Bret.
yeah, I guess.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, I mean, everybody loves Bret Hart, best ever.
Well, not everybody, but at least some
Well,
people do.
people that suck don't like Bret Hart. So what's wrong with those people?
That sucks. I agree.
All right, let's preview AEW's Forbidden Door. It's going down on Sunday. We already gave you the winner for CM Punk and Kojima. We've got CM Punk winning.
Sky Blue just won the first Owen Hart tournament match.
Oh, did she win a match? That was in the tournament?
Yep.
Cool. Good for
She's
Sky
crying.
Blue. She's crying? Oh, okay.
Yeah, she was crying, yeah.
Sky Blue advances. She'll face the winner of Britt Baker versus Ruby Soho. And then I didn't see
I'm
the
gonna
other
guess
bracket.
Ruby.
Somebody else.
I think Willow faces Nyla Rose tomorrow on Collision.
Okay.
I
There's
know
a
you
lot
care
going on in AEW. They got so many TV shows. They have more TV shows than WWE. What are they doing?
It's not true.
Well,
You just don't watch
it kind
all
of
the TV
is.
stuff.
It kind of is, though. Because, like, WWE, they've got two shows where things happen. Raw and SmackDown.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
No, NXT.
NXT, but that's its own thing where it doesn't spill over to Raw or SmackDown. So if you watch
Seth
Raw and
Franklin was on
SmackDown...
NXT.
Who? Yeah, but he went to NXT for a one-time match. He beat Braun Breaker this week, and bada bing, bada boom, he's back on Raw. You know? What I'm saying is, you don't have to watch NXT because nothing really happens on NXT that bleeds over to Raw or SmackDown. So they got two shows a week where they give me things that I need to know about. AEW now, they're throwing 3 shows at me that I need to follow and see things about the company. Otherwise, I'm completely lost with half the matches. 3 shows? It's more than WWE. And TV time-wise, I guess it's the exact same. But, man, the exact same? Because, right, Collision is 2 hours. And then Rampage is an hour. And then Dynamite is 2 hours. So that's 5 hours total. And then Raw and SmackDown. Raw is 3 and SmackDown's 2. So that's 5 hours total for them. So it's 10 hours of wrestling now a week. And Dynamite, or AEW, is giving us 5 full hours of wrestling where things are happening on the shows. 3 different nights. I would prefer it, honestly, a 3-hour show and a 2-hour show like WWE does it. Because the Rampage and then the Collision, it's too much. I guess you could just skip Rampage and skip Collision and skip Dynamite and just not watch AEW altogether. You could do that too.
See, what's rough tonight is because we're into a pay-per-view, right? So, and it's gonna be rough every pay-per-view like this, where it's like everything's happening now on the Friday, Saturday. It really hypes up their pay-per-views, and it's not bad for them in a sense because it's a whole pay-per-view weekend pretty much what they do with Rampage Collision. Collision too, they're having the whole meet and greet. I know people going to Toronto now just for Collision because now they add the meet and greet to that, which is pretty amazing.
What's that?
Well, you can meet like Tanahashi. They have the meet and greet at Collision like an hour before. So
wow,
like Okada, like that's That's pretty good. Like,
If
what
you
a
line
weekend
up
you get. You
for 4 hours before, you
know?
might
Oh,
get
you'll
to
be
meet them.
just you're standing in line for like days, pretty much doing this
Yeah,
stuff. But Toronto's getting a lot of good stuff. Look at the
yeah,
matches too next week or tomorrow. Sorry.
yeah. The match is no, it's Sunday. It's not tomorrow.
Well, I'm talking about Collision. I mean, Collision
Oh,
looks good. Tanahashi's going to wrestle on Collision.
he is.
Yeah,
Damn,
like he's wrestling Swerve tomorrow.
that's ridiculous.
Wow,
So
you got to
they're,
watch Collision now. Like,
I guess. Anything else on Collision? Oh, CM Punk, FTR, and Ricky Starks against the Bullet
Bullet Club and the
Club
Guns.
Gold and the Guns are wrestling on Collision too, right?
Yep.
Gee, so Punk's wrestling on Collision.
But
Yeah,
again, an 8-man tag, like he's not gonna do too much,
no,
especially if
but
he's wrestling the next day.
still, that's what I'm saying. They're packing a lot onto these shows. Like, I kind of want to watch them, but then it's like, man, it's a lot.
You do have your son's birthday tomorrow, so yeah, you're kind
Yeah,
of busy.
I just got other things to do too. Trying to watch the Yankees lose another game like they did tonight. Terrible.
You don't have to watch that. It's okay.
Oh no, I do. All right, so let's get to the rest of this pay-per-view. We talked about him. Hiroshi Tanahashi will be wrestling MJF for the AEW World Championship. I think MJF is going to beat Tanahashi and retain the AEW World title, which is pretty crazy.
Yeah.
MJF's going to beat
Why?
Tanahashi.
Why is that crazy though?
I mean, it's a huge
Like, it
win
just
for
kinda
him. I
makes
just think it's
sense.
cool. Yeah, no, it makes sense. I just think, wow, he's going to beat Tanahashi. Good for him. On pay-per-view,
Well, they're
defend his title. It's big. It's a big deal.
gonna give Tanahashi a win on Collision. He's gonna beat Swerve,
Mm-hmm.
so they give him something there.
Yeah. I'm excited for the match. MJF always delivers. Hiroshi Tanahashi, one of the best ever.
It'll be interesting. I mean, in terms of styles, like I don't know how that's gonna work out. Like, isn't Tanahashi more of like a hard hitting kind of style? I don't know. MJF. I feel like him and Moxley is like the only kind of style I could see with that, and like it's not MJF's best match.
Tanahashi's not like a super strong style type wrestler. He's
No?
more like athletic, kind of a high flyer. Does a lot of cross bodies off the top.
Okay.
It's more
So
his
more
thing.
like
The
a
high
Steamboat.
fly flow. That's his finisher. It's like a big kind of cross body from the top. It's like a splash, crossbody splash. Very nice. High fly flow, John? You don't know about the high fly flow? That's Tana's finish, man. It's sweet.
It's funny. I don't think I've ever seen Tanahashi win a match because every time they brought him over, he lost. I think, or he's
Wow.
always in big matches. He'd lose. He lost to Jericho.
That's too bad.
Yeah.
Because I've seen him win some big matches in New Japan, and it's pretty good. Like Victorious Tanahashi, pretty good. He's got this air guitar gimmick that he does after his matches. Very good. The Tanahashi celebration to close a show, legendary. Guys, I think it's too bad a lot of people don't really understand how big of a star and how awesome he is. Not even how big of a star, but just how great he is, how much fun he is, how great of a wrestler he is, what kind of like an athlete he is. Great athlete. Is this Doki?
Yeah.
Oh shit! Who's he wrestling?
He's wrestling Jungle Boy.
Oh.
Oh, now you're disappointed.
I like Doki. Doki!
See, it really feels like this show is put together just for people that love New Japan and AEW. But if you only know one, like I know a little bit of New Japan, but not that much. So
Yeah.
it feels like it's really hard to get excited for a lot of this stuff because they haven't done a very good job of like putting over like who the New Japan guys are. It's like, well, you should already know this stuff because these matches are happening, and that's all people want to see is these matches. And it's like, okay, like, yeah, sure, but some hype would be nice or some build. Like, we got a little bit, I thought, on Dynamite, but that was it. Didn't feel
Yeah.
like much.
See, I'm the other way because I know who these guys are, and all you had to do was say Danielson, Okada, and that's
Right.
it. You didn't have to do a single promo, not a word. You just had to say, we're doing this match at Forbidden Door, and I'm very excited, and I can't wait. It's going to be amazing. It's a dream match. It's like, what? I still cannot believe it's happening. Yeah. That's the main event. Danielson and Okada. I know that world titles are on the line. MJF is going to defend his AEW world title and beat Hiroshi Tanahashi. We agree on that. And then the IWGP World Heavyweight title also on the line. Sonata defending against Jungle Boy. And I think Sonata will beat Jungle Boy. Jungle Boy's going to get his win over a New Japan talent here when he beats Doki in the main event of Rampage. But he is not going to beat the great Sonata, who is a great technical wrestler in his own right. And I think the IWGP heavyweight title going to stay in New Japan, right?
Well, yeah, of course. Like, to me, it's more of the controversy that people are upset about the match. The fact that this is the New Japan like big title match, where it's like Jungle Boy gets the shot out of all the guys. Like,
mid.
It kind of feels like, yeah, like it's not really the toughest challenge in the world. Like, it's clearly, yeah, they're just going to give it to Jungle Boy because they want to give him exposure, but he's not exactly like top guy. Like, he's good, but he's not like main eventer. And the biggest thing off this, their feud, is just them trash talking each other. Where Sonata said he doesn't know who Jungle Boy is, and then Jungle Boy saying he doesn't watch any Sonata matches. And it's like, well, that's great. You guys don't care for each other. Well, that's all you had for a feud? It's not really much.
Should have been Christian.
Well, it could have been a lot of guys when you think about it. I mean,
other than Jungle Boy,
see...
I think Christian would have been a good one. Because I want to see that match, and Christian's a legit star.
Well, Moxley, like, how many times AEW champ? 4-time AEW champion he was. Like,
yeah,
you would think he would want to go for the New Japan heavyweight title.
Yeah, he doesn't lose a lot of matches on TV though. They protect Moxley pretty big.
They protect too much of their main event guys that, we'll just sacrifice Jungle Boy to take the loss. That's it. They didn't want to have any one of their top guys lose. And that kind of hurt this in a sense, where it's like, well, this match is kind of a joke. Not that it'll be a bad match in terms of wrestling, but in terms of like credible opponent, like Jungle Boy just not a main event guy. Not yet.
No, he had a brush there in that Fatal 4-Way. The 4-Way was great. It didn't main event the show at Double or Nothing, but it was a very good match. The build was good, but he didn't seem to elevate as much as Darby and Sammy did off of it. Right? Of the three. But he's getting the title match. What about Bryan Danielson and Kazuchika Okada? To me, this is the biggest match. Could be match of the year. Could be match of the century. The Rainmaker versus the American Dragon. We saw Okada show up to Dynamite this week. We haven't really talked about Dynamite this week, which had its ups and downs.
Good segments, not great matches.
Yeah. The finish was, the main event segment was just all sorts of people showing up, right? Eddie Kingston started talking. He took his shirt off, but then put it back on because he just had surgery and ate a lot of ice cream. So he didn't get in better shape while he's been gone. He's apparently in worse shape.
There's a lot of goofy lines on Dynamite, I noticed.
Yep.
There's some goofy things said.
Yep.
Not needed.
Eddie says that Moxley is mad that he's teaming up with the Bucks, but he hates Claudio too much to care, and because the match
Wait a second. Didn't he team with the BCC against like the Jericho Appreciation Society and Blood and Guts, Eddie Kingston, and Claudio was on the in the BCC like when that happened. Yet now, for whatever reason, he can't stand Claudio, and it's like, oh, I can never be around him, and too bad Moxley. Even though Moxley convinced him before to team with him, but now for whatever reason, it's not okay.
Didn't something happen in Ring of Honor that?
Oh, they had a feud for the title or whatever, sure, but
Okay.
I mean, it's not like, oh, I could never team with him when you have teamed with him, like
Yeah.
last year.
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't so into the promo. I was like, all right, dude. Leor says, I've never watched a minute of New Japan Pro Wrestling and agree with Johnny's point. It's hard to care for a lot of these Forbidden Door matches because I don't know them.
Well, AEW could have done a better job in just like promoting these guys and like, why is this important? I mean, I think all the footage is there. They just got to showcase it to people, and they didn't take advantage of that, unfortunately.
Yeah, some pretty great matches set up. Like, does Okada Danielson get you excited? But you're not, like, you haven't seen that much Okada. You know of him.
No, but I know enough Okada. I saw enough of his matches with Kenny.
Mm-hmm.
And like, I thought he was pretty good last year too, actually, in the 4-way. Limited what he did, but it's still good. Like, I can appreciate what a good wrestler he is, and the fact that he's going to wrestle Danielson, that's a very good match. I just would have liked, because they're good wrestlers, let's also put a good story behind it, not just that they're good wrestlers. But they gave us a little thing on Dynamite, which was nice. I just wish we had more.
I think most of the story, I mean, just for me is, okay, this is the main event. This is Danielson versus Okada. Who's going to win? We're going to see a winner. Who will it be? And I could see it being Okada. I could see it being Danielson. That, to me, is all I need. We have a match, and we want to know who's going to win. That's basically the story I get for most UFC fights, and I'm hooked on that. You know what I'm saying? Like, two fighters, both on a winning path, both kicking ass. They really have no words for each other. I'm still going to tune into the fight because I want to know who's going to win. And This is a similar thing. Like, Danielson's a big star in AEW. Okada's a big star in New Japan. It would be big for either of them to get a win. Who's going to win? I think it's going to be Danielson, but I'm not sure. And I know the match is going to be incredible. So this is the match that I'm looking forward to the most, because we said, like the other matches here, the MJF Tanahashi match, the Sonata Jungle Boy match, we know what's going to happen. We know who's going to win. With Danielson Okada, we have no idea. And I mean, it really could go either way. And the match should be beyond anything we've seen in a very long time. So I'm very excited because I'm a big fan of Okada's and obviously a big fan of Bryan Danielson's.
Oof. Jungle Boy ate that one.
Yeah, Doki doesn't play around. Doki goes for the gusto.
Well, looks like Jungle Boy might be a little hurt there. He's talking to the ref a little bit. Seeing a replay. Oof, right in the face.
That's what Doki does.
Nice.
I mean, he does that to everybody. It wasn't even that bad. He barely touched him.
Yeah, but Jungle Boy's kind of small, so.
Yeah. Doki's not that big either. He's like smaller than Jungle.
Well, that's why he could do that, but still, like, it's probably better when he does it to bigger guys.
All right, so who do you have? Danielson or Okada?
Well, we talked about this before, like when they announced these main events, right? And I had Danielson before. Like I said, like AEW is going to win one, New Japan's going to win one. And for this one, I had Danielson. And for the other one, I had New Japan.
Yeah, I think Danielson wins this one. The Eddie Kingston promo, John Moxley showed up and was like, oh, Claudio's my friend, and da-da-da. And then Moxley says, oh no, Eddie says, oh, our fifth man is Ishii. And then Ishii comes out And then the Blackpool Combat Club start beating up Eddie Kingston. Ishii tried to make the save, but he got beat up. And then Bryan gets on the mic, and he calls out Okada. And Okada shows up and faces off with Danielson. And then Wheeler attacked Okada from behind. Danielson went for the running knee. Okada ducked, hit Yuta with the running knee by accident. And then Okada went for the Rainmaker, but Bryan was able to get out of the ring. And then Wheeler, Utah, took the Rainmaker instead from Okada, so Okada could stand tall at the end of the night, showing everybody his nice clothesline move. And we're off. Okada, Danielson. I do think Danielson is going to win. I can't believe they're doing this match. Fantastic. And the rest of this card is pretty good, too. We've got Kenny Omega, Will Ospreay.
Jungle Boy won with a Dragon Sleeper.
Oh, okay. I mean, I knew he was going to win. He had to win.
Why a Dragon Sleeper? Why a Dragon Sleeper, though? I don't get it. Was there a reason? Like, he has a different submission finish, doesn't he?
I don't know. I don't follow his moves that closely.
Yeah, he has that snare trap thing. Okay. That STF thing that he does. I don't know. Interesting. Maybe they're trying to push that new finish, I guess.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so Rampage is over. We just saw Jungle Boy beat Dookie. Kenny Omega versus Will Ospreay. Kenny won the last one at the Tokyo Dome. I think Ospreay takes this one. The last one was incredible. This one will be equally incredible. I could see this main eventing the show, too. I'm not sure if it's going to be Okada Danielson necessarily. I could see it being Omega Ospreay. Because it's a big match for a belt.
Oh,
but
Rampage is over. Sure.
Oh, Rampage not over exactly because Sonata came out and he's standing there with the belt looking at Jungle Boy. Is he going to go to the ring?
Yeah, looks like he's going to the ring, but we're running out of time here. I don't know if we're going to get anything.
I think he's just going to look at him. Where was I? What match was I talking about? Oh, Omega
Ospreay.
Yeah, I think Will Ospreay is going to take that IWGP United States Heavyweight belt back to New Japan. Because Kenny's not really wrestling in New Japan these days. I mean, I think Ospreay takes the belt back. And he gets the win back from Kenny.
Yeah, well, this goes back to the main events I was talking about. Danielson won, and the other one was New Japan, so Ospreay's going to win this one. So, and this was kind of, I think, the way AEW New Japan looked at it. It's like, we're going to trade off wins and losses, and this is a trade-off for you, or you'll get this one. So Ospreay wins, and also gets the title back, like you said, and Kenny was kind of pushing that, too, where it's like, oh, you got to fill my shoes, like, I got to show you how it's done kind of thing, and I guess this is the match to kind of do it.
Should be good, right? I mean, so many of these matches, you're like, damn, Okada, Danielson, Ospreay, Omega. That's massive.
There's a lot of hype behind this because apparently the first one was like one of the best matches ever. So now everyone's expecting, again, it's got to be one of the best matches ever.
Don't you think it will be? I mean, are you not expecting something incredible? I think this whole pay-per-view is going to be crazy, really man. Good. This whole show is going to be nuts. They're doing a lot of good stuff here.
I think this is going to be a very long show, I think.
Yeah, I think it's going to be special, though. What else do we have? The Suzuki Gods, Chris Jericho, Sammy Guevara, Minoru Suzuki against Sting, Darby Allin, and somebody. Is it going to be Naito?
Oh. Maybe. I mean, that would be nice. I think the best, it won't happen, but I'd love this to happen, if it was Ultimo Dragon. That'd be fantastic.
I don't think he's still wrestling.
I don't think he's still wrestling too, but like, because Darby said, like, you've made a lot of enemies, Chris. So it's got to be someone from his past, right?
Yeah, he wrestled Naito in New Japan, though.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, Naito would be fine.
He also wrestled Evil.
One who I wanted.
Could be Evil.
That's true. I think he's probably wrestled Yuji Nagata too. So
possibly.
Yeah.
But a lot of people guessing Naito. I hope it's Naito. That'd be sweet.
Oh,
Sting, Darby, and Naito.
I saw Goldberg actually. I was like, what? That's not Forbidden Door, really. Like that destroys the theme of this. Like it's AEW New Japan, not just AEW New Japan Goldberg. Like
It'd be
just
pretty cool,
randomly
though.
throw in names.
It'd be cool.
Would it be cool? I don't
Kind
think
of.
so. Like
it'd be weird. Suzuki versus Goldberg is not a in-ring matchup I would expect to see in 2023, but hey, let's go.
I mean, if you get Goldberg for All In, sure. For Wembley, that would be a spectacle. But for this, it doesn't really fit the theme. Again, we'll find out tomorrow too on Collision. So I don't think they'd announce Goldberg on Saturday.
Tony Khan said he's had talks with Goldberg. You saw that, right?
Right? Yeah. I think they'll probably bring Goldberg in eventually. All it makes sense.
God, why? Why?
Just for the spectacle.
Yeah.
Just for the reaction.
There is a spectacle. He is a spectacle. Okay, so who do you think is going to win? I think it's going to be Sting's team. They will beat Jericho's team. Probably Jericho or Guevara will take the fall, not Suzuki.
I mean, we could see a thing where it screws up and like Jericho or Sammy lose because the other one screwed up or something, I can see something like that go down. Especially if you're turning Sammy into a face. Like, Sammy should actually lose then.
Yeah, I could see that. Jericho, Sammy, and Suzuki beat Darius Martin, AR Fox, and Action Andretti this week. Jericho put the Lion Tamer to get the win on Martin. I thought the match was pretty good. I like that. I like the team of Jericho, Guevara, and Suzuki, especially Jericho and Suzuki together. They're a lot of fun. They did some tag team moves. They did a little pose. It was good.
In terms of wrestling, that was probably the best match we saw.
Yep.
Like maybe in terms of entertainment, maybe not so much, but in terms of wrestling, that was probably the best match on Dynamite this week, which isn't saying much.
No, but I thought the show was kind of fun. Jericho cut a promo afterwards, talked about Sting, said Sting is egotistical. He's not a hero because he just shows up to whoever is the highest bidder. Sting is not a harlequin. He is a whore. He called Sting a whore on TV, which I thought was funny for various reasons. And Jericho says that Suzuki gods are challenging them to find a partner and face them at Forbidden Door. Sting and Darby came out, and Sting was funny with Jericho, putting his arm around him.
Great.
Like,
it's fantastic.
Yeah, I like that.
Jericho looked mad.
Jericho did seem mad, like Sting was all buddy-buddy with Jericho. It was bizarre, but it was funny. And Darby says that they're going to reveal their partner on Collision. So I'm hoping for Naito, but you never know. Never know about Naito. Best case, yeah, for sure. So I think, Sting's team will win. Fun promo, though, and it's cool to see Sting and Jericho face off, isn't it? Like, it's cool to see those two guys doing something. They've never done anything together. They're facing off in the ring. They're doing promos together. They're going to work a match on pay-per-view. It's cool. I'm quite happy with that.
I'd be happy if they did it again. Like, you can go all the way to All In with this, too. Keep the feud going. It doesn't have to end with just the Forbidden Door match.
Give me a one-on-one.
Well, I think Sting's just going to do tag matches, but still, I'll take that. Darby and Sting against Jericho and somebody. That sounds good.
Yep. Okay, Blackpool Combat Club, Jon Moxley, Wheeler, Utah, Claudio Castagnoli, teaming up with Konosuke Takeshita and Shota Umino to take on The Elite. Hangman, Matt Jackson, Nick Jackson, Eddie Kingston, and Tomohiro Ishii. A 10-man tag team match.
It seems like it's going to be war. Like, it's going to be very long, too.
I'm not super excited for this. This is one of the matches where I'm like, yeah, all right. It's kind of an AEW feud that's dragging on, and they're adding a few New Japan people. Eddie Kingston's there for some reason. Like, I don't get it. You got Hangman and the Bucks against Moxley, Wheeler, and Claudio. They've been feuding for a while. I get that. And then Takeshita is with them, but he's not really with them. And then Umino
Right.
is like Moxley's New Japan friend. And then with the Bucks, you have Eddie Kingston, who has really no place in this match. I don't know who he's even feuding with on the other side other than Claudio, which is irrelevant. And then you got Ishii, who's just there because Eddie Kingston likes him. It's not good. Like, the booking of this makes no sense, and it's just kind of leftovers. Like, well, Kenny would be in this match with us, but Kenny's got better things to do. It's like, Cody left. He's got better things to do. We're kind of short-handed in the Elite, so we're going to get Eddie Kingston and Ishii to join us, I guess. Brandon Cutler's, like, sitting in the corner all sad, like, never going to be me.
Well, he's recording it, right? So
yeah, he's got to do the recording. Yeah. I don't know. I think who won at the pay-per-view? The Combat Club, no?
Yeah.
Yeah, Wheeler pinned Kenny. So I guess the Elite win one back here? Maybe?
I guess.
Maybe not, though.
It's good.
Maybe not. Huh?
It's tough. It's a tough one, this one, actually, when thinking about it, because it's so oddly booked. But no, I think you're kind of right, because if Eddie Kingston came back, I think they're going to give Eddie the win. So, yeah, I go with the Elite. But I think Eddie's going to win the match.
Okay. Maybe pin Umino or something.
Something like that, yeah. Because they made a big deal of Eddie coming back, so they'll give Eddie the win.
Yeah. Yeah, so there's some matches that I'm really excited about, and we've talked about them. You know, Kenny and Ospreay, Danielson, Okada. Even Sonata Jungle Boy is fun. MJF Tanahashi, that's really good. Suzuki Gods versus Sting, Darby, and somebody. That's cool. And then we got this Blackpool Combat Club against the Elite thing, and I'm losing interest. Even CM Punk and Kojima, like, I'm kind of interested in that because Punk, and he hasn't wrestled a singles match in a while. We'll see how it goes. But then there's other stuff here. Like, yeah, he could have wrestled Kenta, but he's not for some reason. But
well, see, this is why we need Punk at the media scrum, and people can ask the question.
No, because whatever. We don't need to know. Like, we don't need to know everything about all the details and everything in wrestling. Sometimes things are better left unsaid, especially with CM Punk. Like, shut up sometimes, you know? Like, these matches here, Toni Storm against Willow Nightingale for the AEW Women's World Championship. I don't even see this as New Japan versus AEW. Because Willow Nightingale's in AEW all the time.
But because Willow won the New Japan Strong Women's Championship.
Yeah.
And this was supposed to be Mercedes or Sasha Banks.
Which would have been that
match, right?
That would have been cool. That would have been something. But she's hurt, so instead we get Willow, which is kind of a, you know, I don't care about this match. I think Toni Storm wins.
Well, yeah, it's for the AEW Women's title, so yeah, Toni Storm's going to win this one.
Yeah.
If Willow's title was on the line, maybe this might be a little bit different, but no, Toni's going to win.
Yep, no unification match here. It's just the AEW title on the line. What did Toni do this week on Dynamite? She was there, wasn't she?
Well, she was on Collision, actually. Wasn't she?
Oh, yeah, she wrestled on Collision.
And apparently did a promo on Rampage, but we couldn't hear it.
No. Okay. Did you like the Mark Briscoe Jeff Jarrett match, the concession stand brawl? I thought it was fantastic.
Some of it was okay. Some of it was like chaotic, and it's like, oh, okay, cool chaos and all that.
Yeah.
And I didn't mind Karen interfering. It was fine. But then when we came back to the ring, and it's like, well, now it's just everyone interfering. It's like, okay, we're going off the rails a little bit here. But the first part where they were actually fighting in the crowd and like through the concessions and all that, that was good. Once they got into the ring, that's when it's like, it's just another everyone does everything kind of thing, and it's just a mess. But the first part was good.
Yeah. I know what you mean. I like the concession stand area fight. But then once they got into the ring and Satnam Singh and Chris Daniels and the Best Friends are there for some reason to help Mark Briscoe.
Lucha Brothers.
The Lucha Brothers are there. And the finish, too, of the match wasn't great, where Pentagon just kind of kicked one of them in the face, kicked Jeff Jarrett in the face, and then Mark Briscoe's like, I'll roll him up here. I win.
I do like Mark winning, though. Mark continues to win.
Yeah.
He's never lost in AEW, so that's good.
Sure, I mean, him winning, that makes sense, but the way he won was kind of weird with everybody showing up because Sanjay and Jay Lethal and Satnam Singh were there helping Jeff Jarrett, and then Mark Briscoe had his dad and Chris Daniels and the Best Friends and the Lucha Brothers all come out and help him in this crazy match. Yeah, it was a lot. Like, they had some elements. Like, I like that Mark hit Jeff in the head with a garbage can. Like, just boom, right in the head.
When he threw him to the table, like, it was just set up on the side. It looked like that wasn't supposed to happen. Mark just did it anyway.
Yeah.
That was good stuff.
It was good. There were some really good elements of this match, but I agree with you. It kind of degenerated once they got into the ring, which is weird. Orange Cassidy defends the AEW International title against Zack Sabre Jr., Katsuyori Shibata, and Daniel Garcia. That should be good. We saw them in a tag team match, I think, on Dynamite? Collision?
We did. It was on Dynamite. It was kind of long. Like, it was okay, but it was a little too long, I thought.
Yeah. It was all right, though. ZSJ and Daniel Garcia got the win over Cassidy and Shibata. And we will see a four-way at the pay-per-view. I think Orange probably retains his title here. Uh-oh. Did I lose you? Feel like I lost you.
I think I feel like I skipped or something there.
Yeah, you skipped a beat. I'm going with Orange to retain the title.
Yeah, same as well. Orange to win. I don't see Orange losing until it's a really big match at this point. Like, he's gone through a battle royal, four-way. That should be easy for him.
Yeah. And Adam Cole against Tom Lawler, former UFC fighter. Okay. I don't know when that got announced. I don't know. Apparently it's on the card. I don't know if that's real.
Okay.
Maybe it's made up.
I believe it.
I don't know. I'm seeing it on Wikipedia. I'm gonna double check.
I believe Wikipedia.
Is that usually they're pretty good. Oh yeah, Tom Lawler attacked Adam Cole on Rampage. MJF did a promo on Adam Cole, and then Tom Lawler and another man attacked Adam Cole from behind.
Oh, I missed that. Wasn't paying attention.
And the match was made. Adam Cole versus Tom Lawler. Okay.
All right. I go with Adam Cole. I met Tom Lawler once. Nice guy.
Oh, yeah? Cool. He was fun in the UFC.
He's tough. He's really tough.
Well, yeah.
He took a lot of good shots in his match.
He's pretty good. I think Adam Cole, the baby, will beat him too. And I think that is all for Forbidden Door. Athena and Billy Starks will open up the night in a pre-show match in the Owen Hart Cup tournament first round match.
I go with Athena on that one.
I'm not really sure who Billy Starks is.
She's from high school, I think, if I'm not mistaken. Remember that kid?
Oh, she's like really young or something? She's 19 or something? Okay. I'll go with Athena.
Yeah. I think Starks was on one show or something like that. They showcased her and all that.
Isn't Owen's daughter named Athena?
I believe so, yeah.
Oh, come on. You got to give Athena the Owen Hart Cup thing. It's the same name as the daughter of Owen. There's got to be something there.
Maybe. I mean, looking at that bracket side, I could see her going to the finals.
Or maybe
I like Ruby, though.
I think Britt Baker probably just wins it again.
Really? I see Ruby actually beating Britt.
Oh.
I think Ruby could go to the finals. I could see, but Athena versus Ruby doesn't make much sense, though. Wait and see.
I think Britt the Baker will win.
Well, that's never a bad bet.
Yeah. All right, that's AEW Forbidden Door. Anything else on Dynamite you want to mention before we jump over to WWE World?
Well, Punk was on Dynamite. That was nice to hype up the match for Collision.
Mm-hmm. The Guns beat the Hardys in the opener. Like, this was weird, too, this whole segment.
Well, they wrote off Jeff Hardy.
What do you mean?
Well, because he got the punch with the quarters, so he has like a concussion now and can't wrestle.
But not really.
Not really, but storyline, whatever.
So what's the deal with him? Is he going away for a while? What happened?
Well, because of his charges against him, he can't cross the border to Canada, and they're going to be in Canada for like a month or two.
I get it. So that's okay.
Yeah.
So they made Jeff Hardy disappear. Nice. So the Guns beat the Hardys after Juice Robinson distracted the ref and Jay White pushed Jeff off the top. A little interference there for the Guns to get the win over the Hardys. White and Juice attacked with the Guns. After the match, Ricky Stark came out to try and help. And then FTR came out, but the Guns and White and Juice were beating up on them. And then CM Punk showed up and helped clear the ring. But so FTR, Ricky Starks were getting beat up by 4 guys. But Matt Hardy never tried to jump. Like, the Hardys disappeared after the match. And CM Punk came in and he cleared the ring and everything. But the Hardys just kind of never came back. The Hardys are getting beat up. And then people come and save them. They never come back to try and help the people that saved them. They just disappeared.
Yep. Too many people in the ring, I guess. I had to get rid of some people.
It was weird. Another thing that was weird is they're starting a... Oh, God. So this was awful. The Adam Cole MJF promo with the blind eliminator tagged Battle Bowl. Get
That's
a
what it was
grip.
in WCW.
Yes. And it was not a good idea then. I don't know why they're doing it now. They're calling it a blind eliminator tag tournament. So you don't know who your partner is. It could be anybody on the roster, and you have to team with them in this tag team tournament. And at the end of the tournament, you win what? Don't know. Also, AEW is running this Owen Hart tournament. You get a tag title shot? Is that what it is? Is it really? Okay. And
Yes.
they're running the Owen Hart tournament at the same time. It's like, why run this tournament now at the same time as the other one? And Adam Cole and MJF came out, and they were doing promos. Of course, they had the 30-minute time limit draw, and MJF doesn't want to give Adam Cole a rematch. And Tony Schiavone got on the mic and says that they will have to be tag team partners in the blind eliminator tournament because there were random balls drawn, and somehow they were made partners. And they're like, what? I can't believe it. Tony Schiavone's like, hey, guys, I have some news for you about the tournament. And Adam Cole and MJF are like, I wonder what this could be.
I believe they said shut up, Schiavone, at the same time.
Yeah, okay. But while Schiavone's explaining to them what's about to happen, they're like, And then he says, and you're going to be each other's partners. And they're like, what? I can't believe it. When we're all like, yeah. When Schiavone's like, guys, I have some news, I'm like, oh, they're going to be partners in the thing. And then they get to the point, and the guys are like, what? It was so dumb, man. It was dumb.
I thought
the tournament is dumb.
I thought it was funny.
I hated it. I thought it was so stupid.
Well, we only know them.
Demeaning for MJF. Demeaning.
We don't know who they're wrestling yet. Like, this was actually fun somewhat in WCW too, because it's like you have people that don't want to team with each other, but then you have actual teams, and then you have potential teams. Like WCW, like some years it worked out pretty good actually.
Do you have faith that this is going to work out?
It depends who they put in this. I mean, for this to work, you need some actual tag teams. And
this is just...
How deep is this tournament?
It's a tournament. to continue the angle of Adam Cole and MJF and to continue this story that they have going. It's a vehicle for them. It's not going to be about it's not going to be about anybody else. I mean, clearly, who else have they even announced for this thing? Nobody. We know there's a tournament and we know one of the teams. We don't even know who else is eligible to get a ball picked and become a teammate of someone else. We have no idea what wrestlers are even in this thing, let alone who their partners are. Yet, as soon as the tournament gets announced, the same night, we have MJF and Adam Cole not only in the tournament, but also each other's partners. Who are they facing? Don't know. Who else is even possibly in the tournament? Don't know. You're telling me this isn't all about these guys? Like, it's just stupid. It's not a real thing. It's just to put these guys together and maybe do like a goofy thing where they become best friends in the end, but then break up and have a match and, whatever.
Well, I don't think they'll be best friends anytime soon, but okay.
I think they're going to get along for a bit in the thing. Watch.
Really?
Yeah, they're going to hate each other, and then they'll get along, and then they'll break up, and then they'll have a match, and then MJF will win, and fucking, I'm already at the end of the story, and I'm bored. Like, we haven't really started. Boring. Mid.
Well, it's a long way.
Super mid stuff for MJF. He deserves way better creative than this. Maybe in 2024.
So it's a long way to All In. So I imagine that's where this is all leading to.
Hope it's leading to something. Because I don't like this idea of the tournament. I don't like it. I don't like it at all. Okay, WWE, John, we have some problems. There's something going on in WWE.
What's wrong?
Civil War.
The bloodline. That's the best part.
We have Civil War, John. Why are they so insistent on calling it the bloodline or Civil War? It's the Civil War bloodline match. Civil Wars happen and people die. Like, these are real things. They don't have to throw this into their wrestling story. Super unnecessary.
It's because of the movie Captain America Civil War. That's why.
What?
That was really popular. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Fuck off.
Like, if you see their poster thing, it's WWE. They're all about entertainment. And that was a very popular movie.
Lame.
And of course, WWE would do that.
Oh, I don't know anything about that. I'm out of touch.
I actually found...
I watch MMA and shit. I'm watching PFL right now in front of me. I'm waiting for Olivier Aubin's fight. He's coming up next. He's in the main event. Olivier Aubin-Mercier, the Canadian gangster, PFL champion, about to defend that crown. So we'll be watching that. We're doing a live watch-along of Olivier's fight coming up. Stay tuned. It's going to be good.
It's going to be either Happy Dave or Angry Dave.
Oh, Olivier's a huge favorite. Olivier's going to smash this guy. He's going to smash.
Yeah,
Fast and Furious reference to. They have a Civil War movie there too. Anyways, they did stuff, those guys, the Usos and the Romans and the Solos. Actually, Roman did nothing this week. Another week
We'll be back
off.
next week.
Another week off for the Tribal Chief. He gets a lot of time off.
Next week too.
What?
Yeah, because they're in London next week.
Oh, so it won't be live, you're saying, at night. It'll be taped, like, in the afternoon.
Like, because Money in the Bank's at 3, right? So they're going to have SmackDown 3 our time, but yeah.
Yeah. But, I mean, as long as you can avoid spoilers for, like, 4 hours, you should be good.
Yeah. Well, there's a big title match. 2 title matches, actually.
2 title matches. We have the Queen, Charlotte Flair, versus Asuka for the WWE Women's title or the Women's World Championship?
I believe it's WWE Women's Championship.
Okay.
The other one's the WWE Women's World Championship.
Okay. And Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn about to drop the tag team titles next week to Pretty Deadly. Yes, boy.
No way.
I like the
I
catchphrase
have to
though.
say,
Yes,
oh,
boy.
you
It's
do?
good. I do. I like it. I kind of think I find them mildly amusing. Their promo tonight on SmackDown went on forever. It was awful with Grayson Waller just there. Why did they talk for so long? It was so bad. Like I liked it for 2 minutes, and then it went on and on and on.
Yeah, I wasn't
And
a
then
fan of this
the Street
SmackDown.
Profits showed up, and I was like, oh no. And then they had a match, and I was like, oh no. Yeah, I mean, I don't think Pretty Deadly is the best, but I don't hate them. They're throwing a lot. Like, I don't like Grayson Waller. Like, he's not entertaining. I don't know what he is. He's Australian Miz. He doesn't wrestle. His interviews are not particularly good. Like, the show is useless. He really doesn't seem to have a standpoint at all. There's nothing there. There's nothing there. I don't understand why he's on TV. Grayson Waller. I like Pretty Deadly more than him. Of the new people they keep throwing out on WWE TV, right? Like, they got a bunch of NXT call-ups recently. Zoe Starks and Pretty Deadly and Cameron Grimes and Grayson Wally and probably some other jabronis I'm forgetting about.
Grayson Waller.
Grayson Wally. It doesn't matter what his name is. He's a jabroni. He's never wrestled on TV. Like, all these guys that they're bringing up, mostly unimpressive. Like, I haven't been impressed,
disagree.
but I feel like Pretty Deadly's made the biggest impact.
I guess. I still don't think it's that good though. Like, I'm not entertained whatsoever. Like, I'm happy when their stuff is over, and I feel like this just drags SmackDown's only 2 hours, and it felt almost as long as Raw because of so much Pretty Deadly tonight.
By the way, if these are the NXT call-ups, what's the future of the business looking like?
Well, you would think that NXT would be different because I mean they have to get some new people for NXT, so it might not be that bad actually. I haven't checked out NXT in a while. I'm gonna have to check it out.
No, but I mean, these are the people that get called up. Pretty Deadly, Cameron Grimes, Grayson Wally, and Zoe Starks. These are who they're bringing up.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not impressed. I don't see any future superstars, and quite frankly, I don't see anybody that's going to stick around long term.
I think it's too early to savor that for Zoe Stark, but time will tell.
Yeah.
Cameron Grimes.
You seen
Cameron
her
Grimes has
promos?
some talent.
Zoe Stark's promos, man. Rough.
Okay, yeah, promo not so great.
Rough.
Needs some work.
Not so great.
Needs some work.
You're nice.
But I think in the ring, like, there's potential there.
She's got a good look. She looks intimidating.
Yep.
Yep. Okay, well, Pretty Deadly beat the Street Profits tonight. Deadly got the pin on Dawkins with his feet on the ropes. Pretty was holding the tassels on his boots to help him. I don't know their actual names. I just call them Pretty and Deadly, and I really don't know who's which. I just switch every week. Somebody's Deadly, somebody's Pretty. I don't even know what their names are. I know they have names. I want to say Kip Sop and Brian James, but I know that's wrong.
Well, I identify it more like hairy chest and non-hairy chest.
Yeah,
And
blonde and brown.
There you go. Yeah,
right?
That's
one has brown hair, one has blonde hair. That's how I identify them. I only tonight found out that they weren't Australian and they're actually from England. I had no idea. I thought they were just Australians. No clue. Hadn't paid that close attention. But tonight they talked about being from England and being in England next week and challenging for the belts and whatever. They'll lose to Kevin and Sammy, obviously, but they talked about how they're from there. And I was like, oh, I thought you were Australian.
Well, I put over too. They wrestled in NXT UK, so regardless, like the fans know them. They've seen them wrestle there several years. So, yeah, they're going to get a good reaction. Another reason why that title unification for the women's match should have happened at Money in the Bank. people had seen Dawn Fire wrestle in NXT UK for a long time. It would have got heat at least in the match. This match had no heat. That was sad.
Ronda and Shayna beat Fire and Dawn, making them both tap out to become the new unified women's tag team champions, taking the NXT tag team titles from them. They already held the main roster belts. Raquel Rodriguez was watching from ringside and said they want a rematch for the belts. Shayna says, "You and who? Who is we?" And Liv Morgan came out. So Liv Morgan's back from injury earlier than expected. What?
Question.
Yes.
Did we have a draft exactly? Was there not a draft that happened?
Yeah.
And did Raquel Rodriguez not get drafted to Raw?
I don't know. I can't remember.
Liv Morgan?
No one
Liv Morgan got drafted to Raw?
Did she?
Yes.
So what are they doing? They don't care.
They just don't care about the draft anymore. Nothing matters. People just show up when look at what happened on Raw. Like, we'll talk about it later. Everyone from Money in the Bank was on Raw.
Yeah.
Draft.
Yeah, it means nothing. Means nothing.
I'm just offended that we had a week of television for it. It's like, well, why did we do this? What was the point?
I didn't think that Ronda Shayna match was that great either tonight.
I was very disappointed. Because no one cared. That's the main thing. If you had some energy to it, the fans cared, but no one cared because you didn't put over Fire and Dawn enough for people to care enough. This is why it needed to be in London for people to actually care. And you treated them like they were absolutely nothing. Like Ronda went through them easily and then double tap out. It just looked like they were absolute jokes, sadly. And like that's it for unification. I get why, Raquel and Liv came out afterwards because that's the match they see as something big one day. But like the title unification is a one-time thing that happened and you kind of wasted it.
Yeah. They're new NXT talent, though. They're kind of new and no one cares. You're not going to give, Ronda and Shayna a real challenge there. I wasn't surprised by the way it went. I don't see Liv and Raquel as legit threats to Ronda and Shayna on any planet.
It'll be more competitive. Definitely more competitive match.
Sure. Liv Morgan's back. People like Liv Morgan. That's all right. I like LA Knight. Yeah! That guy. He beat Rey Mysterio tonight with his finish.
It's nice.
Clean. Middle of the ring.
He won't win Money in the Bank, but it's nice that he beat Rey.
I know. I thought he was going to win Money in the Bank until this week on Raw when that jabroni Logan Paul showed up and announced that he was in Money in the Bank for some reason. How come he's just in Money in the Bank? Didn't everybody have to qualify in a match? This guy always loses. He's in Money in the Bank?
Well, Austin Theory last year. I don't know where. He's in the match and he wins. It's going to happen again. Don't qualify for the match. Just randomly get put in it and you'll win.
Well, he appeared at the top of a ladder talking about being in his hometown and how he left his hometown and, healed out on his hometown. And he says he got a special invitation to compete in Money in the Bank. So he's the 7th man in the match. And then Ricochet came out and Nakamura came out and LA Knight and Santos Escobar and Butch and everybody started brawling. Because those are the Money in the Bank guys. But, of course, half those guys are on SmackDown, but they showed up on Raw, like you mentioned. The promo was, not groundbreaking. It was okay. But it was more, I think, a lot of people were in shock and disappointment that Logan Paul had shown up and was entered in Money in the Bank. Because everybody feels now that, he's just going to win. And I think a lot of wrestling fans are quite disappointed.
Did you see a new graphic for the match?
No.
Well, Logan Paul's right in the center of it, and everyone else is off on the side.
I mean, he's the biggest star by far in this match. But this is a match where the field was kind of wide open. Ricochet, Nakamura, LA Knight, Santos Escobar, Butch, Damian Priest. None of those guys are current main eventers in the WWE. This was a way to elevate these guys. I was excited about Money in the Bank because one of those guys was going to win Money in the Bank and it was going to change WWE.
Yep.
And instead, Logan Paul shows up and, he'll have the briefcase as a gimmick. And maybe he'll even win the Seth Rollins belt.
I think so.
But that's not good.
I mean, does it matter? I mean, it's only the Seth Rollins title, like you say.
I guess it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
They're making sure it doesn't matter.
Reigns title.
I mean, they're making sure it doesn't matter, right? Like if Logan Paul's the next champ that wins it off Money in the Bank, well, that title's just a complete joke. Roman Reigns' belt, his belts, by the way, 3 belts. They have weight. They mean something. The Seth Rollins belt means nothing. And I think Logan will probably win Money in the Bank and then challenge Seth at some point or cash in on Seth and continue that whole feud with Seth. Yeah, which is not great. Doesn't help anybody on their actual roster. Not something that Logan Paul needs. Doesn't elevate a guy like LA Knight, who's got himself over through the sheer awesomeness of his work. Doesn't help Damian Priest become a bigger star for the company. Doesn't help Santos Escobar or Butch or anybody. You just elevate Logan Paul to a Money in the Bank thing, which he doesn't need. And it's a gimmick that, he'll show up once every now and again, and that'll be that. It sucks. It's taken all my excitement about Money in the Bank away. It'll be, a car crash of a match that Logan Paul will win in the end. Who cares what's next? Disappointed.
I don't disagree with you on that one, but I look at it in the sense of they're building towards another Logan Paul, Seth Franklin big time match that they want to do. They're probably going to have a series of matches, more than likely.
How excited are you for that?
I mean, WrestleMania was okay. I mean, could have been better. So, I wouldn't mind seeing it, actually, because I wasn't too big on that match. Like, some things were okay, but it felt like it could have been better. So, I wouldn't mind seeing the rematch, to be honest.
Because you think they need to do better? What if it's worse?
Yeah.
What if it's the
same?
same?
If it's worse, then never do it again. Never do it again, please.
I don't need it. He doesn't need it.
Because Logan, like, he lost to Roman, he lost to Seth. Yeah, I feel like giving him something like this, it's kind of to even out the fact that he lost those big matches.
All right, Trish Stratus qualified for Money in the Bank. She's in the ladder match
about that.
Officially. Why?
Because you had Raquel winning it, and she beat Raquel.
I mean, I'm not mad. I'm just surprised. I'm not mad.
Okay.
I like being surprised. I like a swerve. I like not knowing. It's fun.
I thought the finish was really stupid and dumb. So, like, I don't mind, like, the surprise win, but the finish was stupid with the DQ with Becky. Like, was she stupid now?
Becky? I guess so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, clearly, like.
Yeah, Becky Lynch attacked Zoe Stark ringside because Trish was wrestling Raquel and Zoe Stark was interfering. So Becky came out and started attacking Zoe, but also hit Trish. And because she stood between Zoe and Becky, so Becky just hit Trish, which of course caused a disqualification, and Trish won. And Raquel looked annoyed at Becky after the match, which, yeah, sure.
And then Becky, if you heard her like loud, she said like, "Oh, it's completely out of character for me to do that." But I'm sorry, I'm just a hothead. Like I do that. It's like, wow, like that's a horrible explanation, but okay.
Yep. It wasn't great. I was surprised that Raquel didn't qualify. That Raquel, I thought she was going to win, but I guess they have other plans for Raquel and Liv Morgan. So somebody else
I
is going to
mean,
win the women's Money in the Bank. Trish, Io, Bailey, Zoe, Becky, and Zelina are in it currently, although I think Bailey has a match with Shotzi for her spot on Raw.
I feel it's SmackDown, no? And is it next week? It has to be next week, right? Because it didn't happen tonight.
I thought it was supposed to happen tonight.
Yeah, I feel like it was supposed to happen tonight too.
Wait a second.
Why?
Wait a second. Because that was a thing, right? That happened. I didn't dream that promo. It was too shitty for me to dream up. Right? Too stupid.
But maybe it's next week though. It's possible. Or they just
feel
forgot.
like. Wait, are they on Raw? They're Raw wrestlers though, aren't they?
No. Bailey got drafted to SmackDown.
No. Bailey and really?
Yes, they're on SmackDown.
Yeah, you're right. So what happened there? When was that match supposed to happen? Wait, did they do this promo on Raw or SmackDown last week?
They did it on SmackDown, I think.
Last week?
I think it was last week.
Well, it must have been. Yeah, what happened to that? Because Bailey's still in Money in the Bank. And they didn't mention that match again tonight. And they didn't mention it for their show next week either.
I don't know what to tell you. I saw Bailey still in the graphic, so Bailey's still in the match. They haven't changed it.
They did set up Shotzi challenging Bailey for her Money in the Bank spot. I guess they gave up on it.
Or maybe we'll get it next week. It's not impossible. It's very possible we get it next week.
Apparently, it was supposed to be tonight.
Right.
Her match got replaced by Charlotte versus Lacey. Apparently, Vince made changes to the show tonight.
Ah, that makes sense. There you go. Well, Vince made the right call.
Yeah, kind of, except you already promised this match and did a promo about it.
Yeah, well, he did the same thing on Raw. Like, Seth was supposed to do an open challenge. Finn just beat him up. Open challenge is gone. Too bad.
I mean, I guess, but this is completely different. Seth is like, open challenge, and then Finn just attacks him instead, so you can't do an open challenge. That makes sense. You advertise Bailey versus Shotzi, and then don't mention it, don't do it at all, and instead give us Lacey and Charlotte. It's like, what? Because Bailey and Shotzi also had Money in the Bank implications, because if Shotzi had won, she would have replaced Bailey in the match. They made that official. And then they just scrapped it. That's great.
I mean, you can still do it next week. It's not impossible.
I don't think they will. I think they've given up on that, which is fine with me. I just think it's funny. And also, I didn't really realize until right now. It was supposed to be on SmackDown tonight.
See, a lot of things happen in wrestling. It's hard to keep track of everything. So.
Exactly. Like, where's Austin Theory? I haven't seen him in a while.
Well, U.S. champion, like, what is there to do right now? He's not really feuding with anybody.
Well, I don't know.
And Bobby got hurt, too, didn't he?
Yeah, where's Bobby Lashley?
Bobby got hurt, though. Remember that match with AJ Styles? He was bleeding.
Oh, is he hurt?
I would think that they probably gave him time off after that, because he got hurt in that three-way earlier, and then he came back to wrestle again.
Right. So. We haven't seen him since.
No.
Where's Randy?
It'd be great to see Randy come. Apparently, they made like a new version of his theme song too, so maybe they're getting ready for him to come back. Hopefully. Randy Orton makes WWE better, no question.
Where's Drew McIntyre? Where's Bray Wyatt?
We saw Drew McIntyre. He's like the ambassador for the Special Olympics.
Yeah, but he wasn't on the show. He's just an ambassador. Is he okay?
I think it's more of like, if you don't come up with anything good for me, I'll just, do WWE publicity stuff instead. It'll be the new Titus until you come up with something good.
All right. Tommaso Ciampa returned after 9 months this week. He's been out with an injury, and he attacked The Miz. And he beat The Miz. He wrestled The Miz, right?
Yeah, it was okay match. Wasn't great. I thought it was a little too long. I think he should have beat him a bit quicker, but it was all right for what it was.
I didn't need it. I never need to see The Miz wrestle. I also didn't need Caden Carter and Katana Chase beating Chelsea Green and Sonya Deville.
Oh,
I was a little surprised it was on TV.
You saw the whole Chelsea thing they showed of her being like a Karen?
Oh, yeah, that was awful. The fake TikTok videos that they showed of Chelsea Green, that was horrible. I don't know whose idea that was, but it was very poorly executed. Ugh. All that stuff was bad.
In a bad mood. Like, then you have to watch a match afterwards. It's like, oh, after I watch that, I have to watch this now? It's like... And you notice that Carter and Chance, they do the silly string?
I didn't notice.
Or they try to do it. It wasn't that good, but they try to do it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, wow, like people just steal everything from each other, I guess. It doesn't matter.
Matt Riddle beat Ludwig Kaiser on Raw. I thought it was all right.
It was pretty decent. Besides, I think Kevin and Sammy, who I think were the MVPs of Raw this week, that was the best thing, I think, on Raw.
What, you like the 6-man in the main event?
Yeah, the main event was the best part, and I liked the way it started with Kevin and Sammy with their promo, where Sammy is like, Kevin's up with his whole temper tantrum all the time and like trying to keep it under control. Like it started off good, and then it just kind of went downhill. I don't know. They lost the plot to that story, but like it was good when Kevin was trying to control himself until they lost that idea.
Yeah, he can't control himself. He's got anger issues, and Sammy's concerned. It's like I like comedic
he tried to
thing.
Control.
It's not. I don't know. I don't love it.
I like the controlling part. The controlling part was good, where you try and like hold back, especially when Matt Riddle showed up and he's still trying to hold back. That was fine. But then they had another promo and another one. He's always like losing it. And it's like, well, if you lost it twice already, you lost that whole bit, sadly. But
yep.
I like where it started, anyways, and where it ended too, in a sense, with the main event, because it was still the best match we saw on the show, without question. I mean, Kevin and Sammy are, in my opinion, the best things that we see on Raw almost weekly.
Yeah, but it took a whole long time to get to that main event. Cody, Sammy, and Kevin beat Finn Balor, Dominic Mysterio, and Damian Priest in the main event. Cody hit the crossroads on Priest for the win. It was a solid match, but man, a lot of stuff on Raw was not so good this week. Not so good.
Well, Raw's always like that, sadly. We have to, for whatever reason, we get this Bronson Reed, Nakamura, Ricochet, never-ending feud with each other. Like, we don't need to see that stuff, but we have to put up with it every week.
I like the Viking Raiders versus Alpha Academy stuff. Maxine did a suplex on Valhalla this week. Eric Viking beat Chad Gable.
The teaching?
Yeah.
They showed the teaching this week. That was good. That helps add to the story. Like, they did it right this week.
I like them. I thought that was all right. Rhea Ripley and Natalya doesn't happen. Rhea just beat up Natty before a match could happen at all. So maybe they're pushing that to Money in the Bank? I don't know.
I don't know if they're pushing that match whatsoever. It just feels like they're pushing this whole, like, Natty's depressed or whatever, or I don't know. He's going through, like, a hard time. It feels like everyone has this depression angle. Nikki Cross is like a depression angle. Like, all the women are depressed, it seems.
What happened to Nikki Cross?
She has no friends, remember that? storyline they did.
Yeah, but she disappeared. So did Candice LeRae. Haven't seen them in weeks.
Yeah, people just come and go. Dana Brooke went to NXT.
Did she?
Yeah.
I had no idea. SmackDown tonight. We talked about it. LA Knight beat Rey Mysterio. I thought the match was all right. We had Sheamus versus Solo Sikoa. Started off pretty good. The finish was not great. This was the main event, Sheamus and Solo, because Solo had given the Samoan Spike to Ridge Holland backstage earlier in the night, and Sheamus wanted revenge, which led to the match. So Solo hits Sheamus with the Samoan Spike during the match. Sheamus falls out of the ring.
Mm-hmm.
Referee never starts counting Sheamus out, right? Never.
Well, they commentating said that she did.
Commentator said she was counting, but she wasn't counting. She was just going,
I know.
hey guys. There was
I
no
know.
count. Nothing was happening, okay? Commentary said she was counting. She was not counting. They tried to cover for it, but it was really weird. So he knocks Sheamus out of the ring. Sheamus is down. She never starts a count on Sheamus. Solo gets out of the ring, hits a rock bottom on Sheamus on the announce table. Still no count. It's a double count out at this point. It's been way longer than 10 seconds, but whatever. No count at this point. And then he sets Sheamus up near the barricade, and he does that running butt move on Sheamus on the barricade, and it really looked like, and the barricade breaks, and it looks like Solo has taken way more impact than Sheamus, but Solo gets up, and Sheamus is like, yeah. It looked awful for Solo, but Sheamus, has to play dead, and Solo is, looming over Sheamus, and then EMTs and refs try to stop Solo from doing stuff, and he pushes some guys, some EMTs, and then the Usos come out, and they double super kick Solo, and then they hit the splash on Solo, and they're beating up their little brother because that's what they want to do now.
Wait, you've missed the best part.
The finish to this match was totally stupid. Like, come on, man.
Well, they said that Sheamus could not continue, that the match ended because of that.
So Solo won?
Apparently, ref stoppage. Apparently, they never announced. I never heard the announcer say anything. And the bell never rang, too, if I'm not mistaken. But from what commentating was saying, was that Solo won the match because Sheamus could not continue the match. That's what I gathered from that whole scenario. It wasn't extremely clear, but that's what message they were trying to get out.
Not good. Not a good finish. I don't know who is coming up with that.
For the main event,
yeah,
I'd be mad if I was there in the crowd.
Yeah, that seems like really sloppily put together, and maybe Vince McMahon did change up the show last minute because the finish of that match was not good. Did not help things.
It's not a good way to end the show.
Mm-hmm.
It's okay with the Usos coming out and make the crowd happy and all that, but your main event has like a dud or whatever finish or confusing finish. That's never good.
Yeah, just for the Usos to do a 2-on-1 attack on their younger brother. I don't know. I don't love it
too. The Usos are like, "Oh, I'm not gonna turn my brother." Well, you kind of are turning your brother in a sense.
Yeah. They're like, "Oh, we've got him alone. Let's beat the shit out of him." That's not a babyface thing to do to your little brother. Like, you never saw Brett and the Bulldog be like, "Let's beat the shit out of Owen." Like, no, that never happened.
Right.
Owen and Anvil would take shots on Brett, but they're the heels. Stupid booking. Charlotte beat Lacey Evans tonight. Was this match made just because they were supposed to work a WrestleMania together, but it just never happened because Lacey got pregnant?
I think it's just they wanted to put Charlotte on the show. Who couldn't they have Charlotte wrestle? Oh, she's worked Lacey before. It's been a while. Have that match. That's pretty much it. I think Vince likes Lacey. Like, Lacey has a great look. Wasn't a bad match. Wasn't a great match. But it happened.
I think Vince likes Lacey. Lacey has a great look. I don't have to guess too much of what you're saying there, John. Oh, Lacey has a
I said
great
things.
look, pal. Oh my God, Lacey.
So you say things like Vince said, so I
Oh
don't say
my
it like
God,
that.
I'm gonna pay her off so much. I'm gonna give her so much money. Ah! I don't care if Ari says I can't do it anymore. More payouts. Come here, Lacey. Fucking hell.
She has 2 kids, though. Relax.
So, just how do you think she got kids, John? She had
Yeah, not with Vince,
she
though.
had sex. She had
Not
sexual
with Vince.
relations. She's a woman
Not
that knows
Vince.
how to have sex. She's got kids, damn it. She's had sex before. Rawr. I'm a genetic jackhammer. So have I, pal. Grapefruits, pal. Remember when he called himself the genetic jackhammer? And he called
Of
Shane
course.
the product of my semen, my son Shane. That was on TV. It's crazy.
Well, it's television character. It's fine.
Oh,
But
yeah, it's a character, sure. Oh, yeah. What the fuck?
It's more than okay.
It's
But
not
yeah,
a character if you find out in real life that's who he is, man. It's not a character.
But Lacey didn't have kids with Vince or Ric Flair, even though it was implied.
It was implied on TV that Ric Flair was the father when they said Lacey was pregnant. Because Flair was like her manager / possibly sex partner on TV. It was not clear.
Well, because Flair was saying, "Ooh, gonna be the father." Like, didn't he say that? Oh no, I think he said, who's the daddy?" or something like that. If I'm not mistaken, something like that.
He intimated that it may be him. Yup. Flair's daughter, Charlotte, will take on Asuka for the women's title next week on SmackDown. Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn defend tag titles against Pretty Deadly. They're pretty deadly. Logan Paul will be on the Grayson Waller effect, in which will no doubt be a thrilling segment. And Roman Reigns will be on the show, which is always good to see the Tribal Chief. And that will be the day before WWE's Money in the Bank, an afternoon show. We will be on right after WWE Money in the Bank, of course, to recap all the action. So far, we've got Seth the Freak defending the World Heavyweight title against Finn Balor. Dominic Mysterio and Cody Rhodes one-on-one for some strange reason. Bloodline Civil War tag team match. The Usos versus Roman Reigns and Solo Sikoa. And then the Money in the Bank matches. Zelina, Becky, Zoe, Bayley, Io, and Trish. And the other one will be Butch, Santos, Escobar, LA Knight, Shinsuke Nakamura, Richard O'Shea, Damian Priest, and Logan Paul. And that's WWE's Money in the Bank. We'll preview that in full next week here on Wrestling Uncensored. And we will be back Sunday night. Are you going to join me Sunday night? It's late.
We'll see. I'm not sure.
Okay.
We'll find out. Tune in Sunday. Find out.
Well, John might not be here Sunday night. I hope he will be. But if he is not here after Forbidden Door, I will be here with my brother. At least the Simon brothers will be in full effect, and possibly Johnny North too, which would be fun. So we will definitely be here Sunday night after AEW's Forbidden Door, a big weekend in professional wrestling, and that's coming up this Sunday. And I'm watching Olivier Aubin-Mercier right now in the main event of PFL 6 take on Anthony Romero, and Olivier is outstriking Romero with some very clean boxing, but he's been poked in the eye, and they had a bit of a stoppage. They're in the second round, and Olivier with a nice body kick. And I think I'm done with the pro wrestling. We could just keep watching the Canadian Gangster. He is right now a minus 6,000 favorite on the live odds. And it is now officially the 24th of June. Happy St. Jean. Thank you, Angelo, dropping a super chat. Super chat leader of the night. Bon St. Jean to you as well, my friend. Did Olivier just get poked in the eye again? What the hell's going on?
That's pretty rough.
Super chat.
But I guess, happy Zeb Day as well.
Yes, it is now
His
officially my
birthday,
son's
too.
birthday. My son's birthday, the 24th of June. He's 6 now.
Crazy. 6 years. Wow. Time flies.
Yeah, he just graduated kindergarten. He's done school now.
Wow. No more nap time. Those good times.
It's his first like summer break, summer vacation. He's out of school. It's like summer break.
It's time for
Crazy.
summer school.
No, he doesn't need that.
Okay.
He's pretty smart.
Well,
he can.
summer school isn't really for people like that. It's just so they have activities.
Yeah, I mean, he
I
could.
don't mean that kind of.
Yeah, camp and stuff. But
Yeah.
he can read. Okay, a lot of the kids in his class, they're illiterate, but he can read.
Well, they're 5, so yeah.
Some of them are 6.
Not
Okay,
expecting.
he's just turning 6,
Okay.
but a lot of them are already 6. He was one of the younger ones, and he can read. The rest of them,
It's pretty good.
I think
6,
maybe
they'll be okay.
there's like maybe 1 or 2 other kids in his class that can read, but like he's among a few, and he knows the other kids that can read because there's not many of them.
Okay.
That's big. That's big. Just figured it out. He's a smart kid. He's doing well.
Yeah.
Quite proud. I'm
Well,
quite proud
good.
of my son. He's pretty fantastic. And my daughter is becoming quite a tremendous little person as well. Yeah. She's 1. She's almost 14. She's 14 months, almost 15 months. She's a monster.
Wow.
Yeah, she's fantastic. She's so cool. Yeah, I got cool kids. They're good, They're good. They got a good mom, so it helps. Helps a lot. And then there's me. I exist. They like me. They like me all right. Johnny, when is your next match? When can people see you in the ring?
Well, I told them off for the summer, so
Oh,
it won't be till the
shit.
summer's over. But I'm healing up from the strap match, so that's always good. I should be good by the time the summer's over.
Yeah. We're looking at round 3 coming up in the Olivier fight. I think it's a 3-round fight. It's because it's the main event, but it's part of a tournament. If he wins this fight or has a draw, he's into the playoffs of the tournament, and he's probably gonna win this fight. He's been winning the first 2 rounds pretty cleanly. So as long as he stays out of trouble in this 3rd round, it should be Olivier Aubin-Mercier's night. Coming in as a big favorite in this one. I think the last fight in the tournament was a little trickier than this one. Olivier is a monster.
So he's not in the finals if he wins this one, though.
No, he's in the playoffs. It's a long tournament. There's more fights. I'm not sure how many, to be honest.
Wow.
A bunch?
Sounds like, it's going to be...
Well, maybe...
What?
No, I think only 4 guys make the playoffs.
Okay.
So... that would be 2 fights for him. Oh, shit, he just won. Knocked him out. Boom.
There you go.
Canadian Gangster, let's go. I was looking at the playoff format, and I missed the knockout. I just saw Olivier walking away from an unconscious man. Knocked him out. Finished.
Right.
Give me a replay, baby. Canadian Gangster wins again. Let's go. Round 3 knockout, Olivier Aubin-Mercier. Nice. There's Richard Ho in his corner from H2O MMA.
Surprised no AJ tonight. Thought AJ would be on the ball.
Olivier Aubin-Mercier. How come PFL's not showing me a replay of the finish, man? He finished him. Put him away in the 3rd round. Big win for the Canadian Gangster. He keeps on moving.
So 2 more left, right?
Yeah. Well, yeah, because if there's 4 guys, you would figure, here's a replay. Oh, it was a knee in the face. Knocked him out with a knee to the face and then punched him again on the ground for good measure, but he was unconscious. The referee was a little slow on the stoppage. Oh, knee to the face. Caught him coming in. Caught him leaning Bam! Knee meets chin. He knocked him out with a knee. That was nasty. Whew. And good for him. All right, congratulations to Olivier Aubin-Mercier on a beautiful, beautiful knockout. Oh, what a knee. So now he'll take on Nathan Schultz in the next round. Clay Collard faces Bruno Miranda in the other bracket. And those are the semifinals. And then if Olivier wins the Schultz fight, he'll take on the winner of Collard Miranda in the finals for $1 million. Another $1 million on the line for Olivier. Got the $1 million last year. Let's see him win another $1 million this year. Way to go, Canadian gangster.
When you said out of those guys, he's the favorite, right?
I would say so. He's my favorite.
Okay,
Referee looks like
what does Vegas say?
Taz. Uh-huh. I don't know. I don't know if the odds are out for the whole tournament yet, the playoffs and stuff, but we'll see. I'd say Olivier is the favorite, but I think somebody else was the top seed for some reason. I don't know. Based on points, there's like Clay Collard, I think, has more points, so he's the top seed. But whatever. Nice win for Olivier Aubin-Mercier, and that will do it for us. Let's leave on a victory for Montreal, for Canada, for martial arts. There you go. I'll be back with my brother and possibly Johnny on Sunday night. Canadian Gangster wins again. Congratulations, Olivier Aubin-Mercier, from the whole team here on the Ringside Report Network.
Please join in and give your support to Ringside Report Network. We've been providing expert coverage and commentary on both pro wrestling and MMA for over 15 years. Go to ringsidereport.net/support to find out more ways to support the channel.